Good morning, everyone. We're going to get started here in just another minute or so. Let everyone join. Getting close to that time of start. Got another minute here. Again, if you're joining, really glad to have you here this morning, and looking forward to diving into our topic on the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program Accreditation and Instructor Certification. So we'll get started here in just another minute. Give everybody till 10:31 as we get those on. Thanks for joining early, those that have. I see some familiar names out there. Thank you for coming on board. I know we had several more sign up, so I'll give them just a minute here to get in. All right, well, I've got 10:31. I am going to go ahead and get started. We'll jump into today's workshop and hopefully we'll get a few more coming in. So again, welcome to the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program Accreditation and Instructor Certification webinar. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us. We know you all have a lot going on. Over the next 2.5 hours, we're going to have an opportunity to review the Illinois Works guidance for curriculum, program accreditation, and instructor certification. The target audience for this course is the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Grantee Program administrators, program coordinators, training coordinators, instructors, and relevant partners. My name is Dr. Jeff Doolittle. I am one of the instructional designers and program coach here at Illinois Works. I've been with Illinois Works for a couple years now. And my focus, again, works with a professional development team. I'm also the instructional designer for this webinar today, so I'm glad to be here with you. I want to invite my co-facilitator, Edwin Sanchez, one of our grant managers, to come online and introduce himself.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. Hi, everyone. I'm Edwin Sanchez Molina. I'm one of the grant managers for the pre-apprenticeship program. So thank you for joining this webinar, and I look forward to sharing the information.
Thanks, Edwin. Appreciate that. It's great to have a co-facilitator, not have to do everything ourselves. So glad he's here. Now, the course description for today. Our Illinois Works was created as a result of Governor Pritzker's historic $45 billion capital plan and his commitment to expanding equity in the Illinois construction workforce. This exciting new initiative creates opportunities for Illinois businesses, communities, and families. And as a result, substantial funding has been made available for the Illinois Works Job Program Act and its 3 key programs. This webinar was designed to provide the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program grantees with guidance and share the best practices regarding the Illinois Works curriculum expectations, approved curricula, program accreditation, and instructor certifications. So next, I'm going to review our course objectives. So by the end of this training, you hopefully will be able to describe the role of Governor Pritzker's historic $45 billion capital plan in creation of the Illinois Works, explain the role of the Illinois General Assembly regarding the Illinois Works Job Program Act, describe the features of the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program, identify in-scope and out-of-scope activities for pre-apprenticeship curriculum, comply with the program accreditation requirements, instructor credentialing, and Illinois Works guidance for the required instruction, incorporate employability skills, incorporate additional certifications and content considerations as appropriate, and then leverage coaching support. So please note, this session is being recorded and will be made available for review on our Illinois Works Partner Guide website. The link to the Illinois Works Partner Guide is now being made available in the chat for you. And thank you, Dr. Carlita, for dropping that in there. Before we get started, are there any questions for me? If so, feel free to drop those into chat and we'll be sure to read those, get those answered for you. If not, and are there any questions in chat?
I don't see any right now, Jeff.
Thanks, Edwin. Well, and with that, I'm going to turn it over to Edwin to move forward.
All right, thank you, Jeff. So now we'll be on section 2, welcome and introduction. So by end of this section, you'll be able to use the WebEx features and functions to fully participate in the training and identify what you hope to learn from this training as well. So we'll just, in order for you to be fully engaged, let us review some of the basic WebEx system functions. So as I'm going through the list, feel free to practice on your own. So the mute and the mute button is at the bottom of your screen. To stop and start your video, that's your own camera. Raise your hand. So feel free to test that button out right now to raise your hand. That's in case you have any questions. We'll be sure to see that on our side and call on you. And emojis. So if there's anything that you like that we say, you can use an emoji to express yourself, or something that you don't like. You can use an emoji to express that as well. So they're at the bottom of your screen. There's a chat button where you can enter any questions. Let's practice by entering your favorite music band or favorite music artist. So feel free to please enter your favorite music band or favorite artist in the chat. And there is a group section, but we will not be utilizing that during this webinar. Now, to help facilitate the best experience, please keep your line muted to manage potential interruptions. Um, the, the lines can be muted during the question and answer sessions or group discussions, but again, as I mentioned earlier, we won't do the group discussions. And if you have a comment or question, please share it in the chat or unmute yourself during the question and answer session at the end of each training section. Now, we'll try to respond to as many of your comments and questions as possible within our allotted time frame. Right. Now, if you have further comments, feedback, or questions after this training, you can email us. The email address is available down in the chat, or also you can reach out to your grant manager with question or comments, and those will always get answered by us. All right, thank you for dropping that in the chat. And we'll now discuss Mentimeter. So log into the website on this slide and enter the code, please. The website and code are also available in the chat. This will allow for you to provide feedback. So please enter that. Go on to Mentimeter. So we'll do a practice in a little bit. All right, so now using Mentimeter, provide the following, please. Your name, your organization / agency, and your role. So thank you for being here with us. Let's see who we have. So again, using the Mentimeter, please share your name, your role, and the organization that you are with. Again, the link is in the chat if you're having issues getting on. So it's menti.com. You will enter that code there. Hi, okay, glad to be here. Thank you. Thank you. All right, thank you, William Diddy, for joining. Slowly rolling on. Okay, thank you for joining Rahid from Lumity. Thank you for joining Brenda from our trade school. Appreciate everyone becoming engaged on Mentimeter. All right, so oh, we have Alexander from Southwestern Illinois College. Thank you for joining as well. All right, so we can continue practicing using Mentimeter by answering the following question. Is there anything specifically you are hoping to get from the session today? So again, please answer that question on the Mentimeter. Is there anything specifically you're hoping to get from the session today? Want to make sure we are compliant? Yes, that's very important, compliance. And as you are aware, compliance is key with performance-based grants. So thank you for joining, and I'm sure at the end you'll be here to you'll learn a lot from that. Just here to learn, always great. Thank you for joining. You'll definitely hopefully be able to learn a lot today. And we'll give it another minute. Hopefully more folks can answer on here. If there's anything specific you're hoping to get from today's session. All right, doesn't look like there's any more, so we can move on to the next slide. Thank you. Now, any questions before we proceed to the next section? If so, please feel free to unmute your line or post your question in the chat. No? Okay, so let's move forward. Now we'll move on to section 3, organizational structure of Illinois Works. So by end of this section, you will be able to articulate Governor Pritzker's historic $45 billion capital plan's role in the creation of Illinois Works, explain the role of the Illinois Works Jobs Program Act, list the three uh, list the three Illinois Works key programs, describe the primary characteristics of the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program, identify the Illinois Works goal, access the 2025 Illinois Works Grantee Manual, and also identify members of the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship team. All right, now the governor's economic plan. Illinois Works was created as a result of Governor Pritzker's historic $45 billion capital plan named Rebuild Illinois, and his commitment to expanding equity in the Illinois construction workforce. This is a top priority of the governor's 5-year economic plan. With this new capital funding set to pave the way for tens of thousands of jobs over the next decade, the Illinois Works Job Program Act was intentionally designed to increase equity and opportunity in capital construction jobs. If you would like to see a copy of Governor Pritzker's 5-year economic plan, a link is being shared with you in the chat. The intention of this effort is to reinvigorate the workforce in Illinois for the future. The passing of the Illinois Works Job Program Act led to the creation of the Office of Illinois Works, a new bureau within DCEO, Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, with the responsibility of implementing the Illinois Works key programs. From that came the Illinois Works Job Program Act. The Illinois Works Job Program Act is a statewide initiative to ensure that all Illinois residents have access to state capital projects and careers in the construction industry and the building trades. Now, the goal is to provide contracting and employment opportunities to historically underrepresented populations in the construction industry. If you would like to access the Illinois Works Job Program Act, the link to the act is now being shared with you in the chat. Thank you, Dr. Carlita Austin, for dropping those links in the chat. Now, the 3 key programs are being listed here. So the Illinois Works is an innovative workforce development model. The DCO Office of Illinois Works, with the support of partnership of communities, the building trades, the construction industry, and grantees like you, are delivering the following 3 key programs. So the Illinois Works Apprenticeship Initiative, which creates a demand for the jobs. The Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program, which creates the talent pipeline. And finally, the Illinois Works Bid Credit Program, which provides incentives to hire and retain. Illinois Works Career Services Program play a key role in supporting and connecting program graduates with contractors. Again, Illinois Works is a one-of-a-kind initiative and is in a really unique position to make a huge difference. All right, so the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program creates the pipeline of diverse candidates to help respond to demand within the construction industry and building trades. In summary, the program provides pre-apprenticeship skills training through a network of community-based organizations, including community colleges. And again, we fund the programs that provide training, not just support services. Preference is given to underrepresented populations that have historically encountered barriers to entry or advancement in the trades, including minorities, women, and veterans. Um, Underrepresented populations are a focus, but not exclusively. We will serve any Illinois resident in need. Free tuition and a stipend to participate to attend the program. $25 million are appropriated Illinois Works Fund for the grant program. We expect to receive this funding for years to come, making the making this program the first financially sustainable pre-apprenticeship program in the state. All right, now here's the Illinois Works program goals. So if we achieve our Illinois Works goals, we will have successfully partnered with community stakeholders to provide a career pathway for residents in disadvantaged communities, provide eligible apprentices with the skills for lifelong job security, promote construction as a viable job industry for women and minority communities, provide the construction industry with a consistent and skilled workforce for generations to come, and create new partnerships between state agencies and community organizations. All right. Now we'll be using Mentimeter for the following question. So as a grantee, how does your organization uniquely support the goals of Illinois Works? So those goals that we just went over. So again, as a grantee, how does your organization uniquely support the goals of Illinois Works? Feel free to add those in the chat. I'm sorry, in the Mentimeter. Free to add those in the Mentimeter, please. Thank you, Carlita. And Carlita, she did drop the link to the Mentimeter again. If for some reason you closed it out of your web browser, it is available now in the chat. Okay, we got the first response there. Thank you. So as we empower the workforce here in Illinois, yes, you do. So thank you very much for that response. All right, so we have one more response, building a close relationship with area union leaders and building trades council. Yeah, it's very important to have those relationships built to help our students, participants, graduates of our program. So thank you. Yes, that's really good. All right. We'll give another minute or so, see if there are any other responses trickling in. All right, I think we can move forward. Does seem like there's other answers rolling through. All right, now we'll talk about the grantee manual. Most of you are already familiar with the Illinois Works 2025 grantee manual. The 2025 grantee manual is the resource for instructions, guidance, tools, and expectations for the program design, implementation, and delivery. You will notice references to this document during this and most other Illinois Works trainings. If you have not yet accessed this document, a link is being provided for you in the chat now. We highly recommend for you to read this grantee manual in its entirety. All right, so the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship team, you see them here. So the Illinois Works has a team of passionate experts committed to supporting your pre-apprenticeship program success. So Dr. Norman Ruano, he's the Deputy Director of Illinois Works. My colleague, Ms. LaMonica Pruitt, Grant Manager. We have Ms. Shari Fulsey, also Grant Manager. Another colleague of mine, Mr. Dan Martinez, who is now a Financial Grant Manager. We have Ms. Heather Harrison, Financial Grant Manager. Dr. Jeff Doolittle, who's co-hosting or co-leading this presentation with me, who you met in the beginning. Professional coach, ID and professional coach. Dr. Carlita Austin, who's helping in the chat, ID and professional coach. Ms. Olivia Meisenbach, who's also helping out with this presentation today, ID and professional coach. And Dr. Gia Suggs, professional development lead, ID and professional coach, who's also helping out with this presentation today. Now, there's also a team accountable for the apprenticeship initiative, and a team accountable for the bid credit program. Again, this is just a pre-apprenticeship team that you see on the screen here. Now, any questions before we proceed to the next section? If so, please feel free to unmute your line or post your question in the chat.
Edwin, there is one question in the chat inquiring about the video and how it would be, if it would be available and accessible after the program.
Yes, so this recording will be available in the partner guide. All right, are there any other questions?
Yeah, it doesn't look like there are, Edwin.
All right, thank you.
All right, so with that, I'm going to pick up and take over here from Section 4, the Illinois Works curriculum. And by the end of this section, you're going to be able to reference the training, instruction, and certification section of the 2025 Grantee Manual, locate the training on the pre-apprenticeship life cycle, identify in-scope and out-of-scope activities for the pre-apprenticeship curriculum, describe the Illinois Works curriculum approval process, differentiate between program accreditation and instructor certification, and reference an instructor profile. So, the 2025 Illinois Works Grantee Manual provides guidance, instruction, tools, templates, and a sample documents to assist your program with successfully and effectively implementing the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship life cycle. Now, Section 7 of the manual outlines the guidance regarding training, program orientation, curriculum expectations, evaluation, instruction, as well as much of what we were going to cover during this webinar. Again, that's Section 7 of the manual. The pre-apprenticeship life cycle is something you should become familiar with. The Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program requirements are organized into this pre-apprenticeship life cycle. The life cycle outlines steps that participants take as they move through the pre-apprenticeship program. It tracks participants' progress from the initial program outreach to the post-transition follow-up. Now, each stage demonstrates an integral step in preparing participants to enroll in a DOL Registered Apprenticeship Program, RAP, which is the primary goal of the Illinois Works, the reason why Illinois Works exists. Now, you can see here on the screen where training is located on the life cycle, right down towards the bottom center there. Now, the 2025 Grantee Manual provides guidance for all of the life cycle phases in addition to just this one that we're covering today. So staying in scope, it's critically important that programs stay in scope. The overarching focus of the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program is to fund programs that target underrepresented populations and successfully transition graduates into DOL Registered Apprenticeship Programs, again, RAPs, in construction and the business building trades. The Illinois Works funds should be used within the scope of this goal. Pre-apprenticeship curriculums must offer a minimum of 183 hours of instruction, not to exceed 300 hours of instruction unless specifically approved by the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program. This program completion is connected to the number of hours they determine is necessary for the program. You know, what each participant program decides, and that's how you set it, but it stays within that range of 183 to 300. Breaks during this instruction do not count as part of the instructional time. So if you're running like many programs, full days, you're going to take breaks during that time. So when you take a break, that time can't be counted as instructional time. All right, so let's talk about the required instruction. Instruction must include the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program orientation, which is required at 4 hours, introduction to construction and the trades, which is required, construction math, which 40 hours is required. Now, one note here is if you're using the NCCER Introduction to Construction Math that offers 10 hours of instruction, Again, the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship minimum required standard for math is 40 hours. Therefore, 30 hours of supplemental math needs to be added to meet the minimum requirements of the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program standards. The Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program recommends that grantees use the following NCCER supplemental mathematics course. Again, so this is for those of you that are using NCCER. You can use the Applied Mathematics ISBN 13, and then it's 978013227988. That is the ISBN number for the Applied Mathematics that can supplement and round out the 40 hours that are needed. The Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship certifications are required. The Trades Futures, formerly the NABTU or the NCCER or ICCB programs, or other construction curriculum approved by Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program. So again, if you come through the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program, you're going to get one of the certifications you're going to get is a Trades Future, NCCER, or ICCB, or other approved construction program. They're also going to get the OSHA 10-hour construction or approved NCCER Career Safe OSHA 10 construction. Again, if you're using NCCER, Career Safe OSHA 10 certification is an asynchronous curriculum for the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program to accept Career Safe. To fulfill the OSHA 10 certification, it is required for grantees to ensure that Career Safe instruction is taught in person in an interactive format, and it must be facilitated by an NCCER certified instructor with the required knowledge, experience, training, and construction safety practices. So they have to have a certified instructor, and again, it has to be taught in an interactive format, which means not just using tablets and reviewing things together, but actually engaging the participants. That's if you go the optional route of using the NCCER Career Safe OSHA 10. Additional certifications: first aid and CPR, other nationally recognized certifications if needed, and soft skills based on the Illinois Essential Employability Skills Framework of 32 to 40 hours are required. And if you're at the 40 hours, that can include harassment prevention at 4 hours and diversity and inclusion in construction 4 hours. If you're using 32 hours of soft skills, you need to add additionally 8 hours of 4 hours of harassment prevention and 4 hours of diversity and inclusion construction. Okay, those two can't be a part of that 32. They can be though when you're at 40. Test taking skills: 4 hours is required, and work-based job site learning 10 to 50 hours is required to round out your program requirements. So Illinois Works has an exception for work-based job site learning that would allow programs to plan for RAP visits instead of actual hands-on instruction. So you can supplement some of that time of hands-on time with visits to the RAPs. Note that this exception must be pre-approved. Okay, it has to be pre-approved. And for additional information, you want to see section 7 of the training, instruction, and certifications in the 2025 grantee manual. Again, the instruction must include orientation, which is part of the 183 instructional hours. Okay, and that rounds out the requirements of the program. What's out of scope? Okay, if that's in scope, what's out of scope? Well, the 183 hours of instruction do not include the items below because they are not considered instruction by the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program. Wraparound services, student support services, transition services, follow-up activities, complementary education, say GED courses, ACT preparatory training, college fairs, or other similar activities. It's important to note that complementary education and support activities such as GED courses, ACT preparatory training, college fairs, and other activities, again, are outside of the goals and scope of the Illinois Works funding. Before proceeding, ensure that the in scope and out of scope content is clear. All right. You want to make sure that you're very clear on what I want you to know what is and is not in scope and out of scope. And when we're looking at what qualifies for that 183 hours of instructional hours, is what we talked about as being in scope. So if there's any clarification on this, let's talk about that. And you feel free to post a question into chat and we can ask. If you're unsure, you have questions regarding in scope and out of scope activities, again, don't hesitate to reach out to your grant manager. Your grant manager is an excellent resource that you want to tap into for what is considered in scope and out of scope in the program. Let's talk about the curriculum approval process. At this point, it's likely your program has already submitted the pre-apprenticeship curriculum for approval, and approval must be obtained prior to implementation. So the Illinois Works curriculum approval process has two components: the grantee submission of Exhibit 10 final curriculum form, and the curriculum is then approved and entered into IWRS by the grant manager, along with uploading of the final curriculum form. Now, it's important to know and that template 17 of the Sample Illinois Pre-Apprenticeship Program in the 2025 grantee manual is an excellent resource for you to reach out to and look at. So if you haven't already, put a note down to go visit template 17 of the 2025 grantee manual as an example. For curriculum criteria, for many of you, curriculum requirements were a part of your grant negotiations. Curriculum criteria include must be industry recognized, must produce nationally recognized credentials, must abide by an Illinois Works approved curriculum design standards, and the final curriculum form is generated by Illinois Works. The form will be sent to the program administrators and is then used to confirm training services, titles, hours per module, and confirmation that the student evaluation, a post-assessment or performance test will be provided per training service. Now, this form is created by the Illinois Works grant manager after the grantee submits the proposed curriculum and receives preliminary approval. And that's the final curriculum form. Now, upon approval, this form, the final curriculum form, the Illinois Works grant manager then will upload a copy of the form into the grantee's provider's info page on IWRS. And after adding training services to the grantee's provider info page, the Illinois Works grant manager will send a signed copy of the final curriculum form to the grantee. The Illinois Works grant manager will also enter the approved curriculum in the IWRS for grantee and let the grantee know when they are ready to enroll in the participants into the cohorts. Just as a reminder, the pre-apprenticeship curriculum has to have a minimum of 183 hours of instruction and should not exceed 300 hours of instruction, unless approved by the Illinois Works. Now, this must include a minimum of 32 hours of employability skills. And again, I mentioned if only 32 hours of employability skills is used, that cannot include the 4 hours of harassment prevention and diversity and inclusion in construction at 4 hours. Those would need to be added as additional. If you're using 40 hours of these employability skills, then you can count the harassment prevention and diversity and inclusion as part of that 40 hours. We'll discuss more about employability skills and the Illinois Works guidance later in this course as well. So just giving you a heads up. Program accreditation versus instructor certification. Now, many curriculums require compliance with two components: the program accreditation, and this is the assessment process used to ensure the competence of the training or educational program being provided by an organization meets the acceptable levels of quality and complies with the standards, and then stays in scope with accrediting bodies' expectations. While the program accreditation may be required, it can be a partial once the organization is accredited. They may still require the instructors receive relevant certifications. Now, instructor certification, credentialing, also known as certification, is the process of evaluating the individual's knowledge and skills against a specific professional standards. Certified instructors are individuals who have met minimum criteria outlined by the certifying body and are now qualified to deliver specific instructional content. For purposes of the Illinois Works, the certifying body for the instructor is the program according to the agency that you're using. So whether that's NCCER, Trades Future, and ICB, uh, they uh, they do not have to take certification course, but must meet certain levels of academic credentials if there's ICCB. But for NCCER and Trades Future, they have accrediting requirements for certification. Let's talk about the instructor profile. Below are on this slide are the recommended minimum requirements for instructors. Well, actually, it's not on the slide. I'm going to review these. So in-depth knowledge of the subject matter. So one thing we want of instructors, in-depth knowledge of subject matter. We want strong communication skills to effectively convey information to students. Experts in adult learning principles, the ability to engage students and create a positive learning environment, flexibility to adapt to different learning styles and student needs, organizational skills to manage course materials and assignments, creativity to design innovative teaching methods and activities, patience and compassion to work with students from diverse backgrounds with multiple needs, dedication to ongoing professional development and staying up to date with current research and trends, the ability to provide constructive feedback and support to students, strong work ethics and a commitment to student success, a minimum of 5 years of practical experience in the practice area, and a minimum of 3 years of training or instructional experience. Though these are the Illinois Works recommended requirements, certifying bodies may have their own requirements for instructors, which you're accountable to complying with additionally. But these are the minimum Illinois Works requirements. You also have to possess the required credentials and certifications to serve as an instructor for the respective curriculum. So it's not enough just to have the certification from the agency that is providing the program. There's a lot of different requirements. Not everybody with the skills and experience in construction makes a good instructor. And so we want to go through and evaluate and make sure that your instructors have these different bullet points that we're talking about here in this instructor profile. Now, questions. Are there any questions before we take a short break and then begin with the next section? Any questions? Anything in chat?
There are no questions in the chat.
Wow. Okay. I thought we might get some. All right. Well, we're going to take a break. And if you come up with a good one over break, you can feel free to ask it when you come back. We're going to return back at 10:20 and then begin with the next section. So you feel free to stand up, take a stretch, grab a cup of coffee, and come back, and we will begin our webinar. Thank you so much for your time so far. Okay, everyone, this is your 2-minute warning, and then we're going to get started. So give everybody a 2-minute warning. If you haven't got up from your desk or wherever you're taking this webinar, now's the time to do it. Get that stretch in. What I've heard, sitting is the new smoking. So make sure you're not just sitting too much. Get up, get moved around, and then we're going to get started here at 10:20. So it's now 1 more minute left, and then we're going to get started. Okay, I have 10:20, so it's time to get started back with the presentation. Again, thank you everyone for joining. Let's go ahead and review the objectives together. So section 5 here, Illinois Works Technology. By the end of this section, you'll be able to identify the Illinois Works approved construction curricula, access program accreditation and instructor certification information, comply with the Illinois Works guidance regarding a curriculum implementation instruction, and access the Illinois Work coaching support. So Illinois Works requires all pre-apprenticeship programs to deliver a construction curriculum. There are 3 approved construction curricula: Trades Futures, NCCER, and ICCB. And if a grantee is interested in delivering construction curriculum that is not currently approved, Illinois Works allows grantees to submit a construction curriculum for approval, and program delivery cannot occur without prior approval. Now, question using Mentimeter, we're going to have here. I want you to answer the following question on the screen. Which of the construction curriculum is your organization using or planning to use if you haven't begun? But I'm thinking everybody's begun. So go ahead. Which one is your organization using? We're going to do that in Mentimeter. Now, if you are using a laptop or a desktop, you have a multimedia viewer on the right side of your screen, and you can actually just click in there and answer the question directly in the multimedia viewer. Or if you're on a phone, you're going to want, or a tablet, you're going to want to use the www.menti.com. Use the code 4194-9529 that Carlita has posted into the chat, and that'll actually let you write in, and you can answer it there. So I know we don't have a lot of people on the call today, but we have more than 3. So I'm going to give just a minute here and let's get some more answers to this question. With construction curriculum, which construction curriculum is your organization using or planning to use? Are there more than 3? Let's see. All right, we got 4. All right. 5. Thank you. Thank you for those that are adding it in. Thank you. Okay, so I'm glad hopefully everybody knows which one you're using, and it looks like the majority on this call are NCCER. So we're going to definitely get into that coming up here next. But to start with, we're actually going to jump into Trades Future, and we've got one of you out there that are using that today. So let's start with them, the Trades Future. And again, they were formerly known as NABTU, but that's going back a ways. So you've had to have been involved in trades training for a while to know that. Now it's all Trades Future. The Multi-Core Craft Curriculum, or the MC3, was developed by North America's building trades unions in order to prepare future workers from all walks of life for the union trade of their choice. In 2023 is actually the NABTU gifted the Multi-Core Craft Curriculum to a nonprofit organization, Trades Futures, which is now administers the MC3. So you'll hear it called Multi-Craft Core Curriculum, or MC3 for short. The Trades Future has a new website as well, and a link to their website is posted into chat for you. Okay, the Trades Future overview. Again, this was produced by labor unions in order to prepare workers to enter the union construction apprenticeships. Trades Future is a nonprofit corporation organized for the purpose of developing, promoting, and improving apprenticeship readiness programs, also known as ARPs. ARPs are programs that prepare workers for union apprenticeships using the multi-craft core curriculum. ARPs are educational programs that provide students with the fundamental skills, knowledge necessary to choose, obtain, and succeed in a formal registered apprenticeship program in the construction industry. Trades Future supports over 250 comprehensive apprenticeship readiness training programs throughout the United States. And these programs provide a gateway for local residents focusing on women, people of color, and transitioning veterans to gain access to the building trades readiness registered apprenticeship programs. All ARPs require approval and of the local building trades council to operate, creating a pathway into apprenticeship for program graduates. ARPs are administered by the state and local building trades council, which they nationally recognize multi-core craft curriculum, a standardized comprehensive 120-hour construction course designed to help, again, young adults and transitioning adults to choose to succeed in their apprenticeship programs. There are 9 units in the MC3, the multi-core craft curriculum. And it requires orientation and industry awareness, which is 16 hours, construction health and safety at 20 hours, and includes CPR first aid at 8 hours and OSHA 10 hours, and then a women's health and safety at 2 hours. That rounds out the 20. Tools and materials are at 8 hours and include hands-on component. A construction math at 40 hours. Heritage of the American Worker, 8 hours. Diversity in the construction industry, 12 hours, and includes a diversity awareness at 4 hours. Sexual harassment at 8 hours. And then a green construction at 8 hours. The electives are blueprint reading at 4 to 16 hours and financial literacy at 4 to 8 hours. The elective modules above are that I just read through are required by the Illinois Works. The Trades Future MC3 must be a minimum of 120 hours. Again, however, programs may add more hours at their discretion. Grantees must administer the trade's future MC3 curriculum as originally designed. The Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship will not accept Trades Futures MC3 certifications where curriculums were modified. The modification has been negotiated. So again, it has to be as designed. The MC3 curriculum can be taught face-to-face, asynchronously, or through a hybrid model delivered via the Trades Future online learning management system. If you're using Trades Future, you know that as OLMS. And I just want to explain, though, that the Trades Future OLMS exists, but it cannot count those hours towards their curriculum. They can use the OLMS, students can, for support services like tutoring or additional educational support, but be reminded that those hours would not be counted towards curriculum or stipends. If technology is used to deliver some of the instruction, it must be synchronous, and all hands-on practice, lab work, and worksite instruction must be face-to-face. Trades Future Program approval process. So how do you go about getting this Trades MC3 approved? The Trades Future Program accreditation process involves a rigorous evaluation of training programs and facilities. The program accreditation is granted to programs that meet Trades Future's high standards for quality, safety, and effectiveness. The process includes a comprehensive review of your program curriculum, your instructors' qualifications, and facility resources. Now, once accredited by Trades Futures, programs are monitored regularly to ensure continued compliance with their standards. Now, to become accredited by Trades Future, an organization needs to obtain approval from your local state building construction trades council to implement the multi-craft core curriculum into your pre-apprenticeship program. You want to have your council leader directly contact Trades Futures to provide formal approval letter to be submitted by Trades Futures. That's step one to getting started. You need to have that support. And just know that Trades Futures does not sign CBAs with organizations, as they are not a labor union. They will work with local building and construction trade councils to approve apprenticeship readiness programs, which work to place participants with their affiliated build trades unions registered apprenticeship program. Step number two, the process. The implementation plan outlines an organization's proposed approach to student recruitment, retention, and placement training, and plans for curriculum apprenticeship or tailoring as necessary. The licensing agreement then allows the program's legal rights to teach the curriculum. The third step is to submit the completed documents to Trades Futures for review and approval. And then lastly, if approved, you can move forward with MC3 implementation by purchasing the required number of student enrollment logins, instructor certification, and enrollment of participants. So keep in mind that specific requirements for program accreditation may vary depending on the type of the organization and the region in which it operates. Instructor certification within Trades Futures offers a fully online instructor certification course. The Build Trades Academy 107 Multi-Craft Core Curriculum Online Train the Trainer. And this class is offered via Zoom, and it'll introduce instructors to MC3 and also introduce previously trained instructors to the new online format, the OLMS. It includes full group discussion sessions, small group sessions, and individual work. So we're going to be sharing now a link to the Trades Futures online MC3 Train the Trainer registration information for those that might be interested in that. Trades Futures Illinois Works guidance. We're going to offer Trades Futures for the person that is. It must be delivered as originally designed. I can't say that enough. Although Trades Future may grant you permission for modifications, this is not going to be accepted by the Illinois Works. The most current version and edition of the curriculum must be delivered. And although the curriculum includes soft and employability skills, grantees are still accountable for delivering the minimum of 32 employability skills training hours. And again, remember that the 32 hours cannot include the 4 hours of harassment prevention and 4 hours of diversity. At 40 hours, it can include harassment and diversity. It also must comply, your curriculum must comply with trades future testing and evaluation requirements, and must also comply with Illinois Works testing requirements. And if Illinois Works requirements exceed trades futures built-in tools, grantees are expected to create tools, i.e. post-test, to supplement what is already built in. So you can't just rely on what was built in. You have to make sure it complies with Illinois Works requirements, and then add in additional as needed to meet the Illinois Works standards. It must also have access to online testing and evaluation resources. And our contact person for Trades Future has shifted. It's now Jack McHughes, Senior Program Manager, and we're sharing his contact information into the chat at this time for you. So I have a question for you. For those that have used MC3, please share about your Trades Future Program accreditation process. How did it go? Is there anybody online that has used or is using the Trades Future? I know there's one out there that's using them.
Okay, there is something in the chat. It says from Marina. Hey all, this is Marina from Trades Future. Please actually contact program@tradesfutures.org for any questions or to log in.
Thank you, Carlita. Yes, Marina is from Trades Future, so we can rely on that information there rather than using Jack McHughes. You can go directly to program at Trades Futures, and they'll get you an answer and response back. Thank you, Marina. All right, so for those that have used Trades Futures, I'd love to hear from you. I know there's one, and if you're willing to even come off of mute and share your experience with us, would that person do it?
Absolutely. This is William Diddy.
Hey, William, thank you so much. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, everything from get-go. I was a union member for 25 plus years, so the Building Trades Council approached me when they found out I was working here at Richland, and they're the ones that suggested the MC3 curriculum and all that, and I have had no issues whatsoever. Everything has been smooth as glass, and I have no complaints at all. The curriculum that they have in their instructor session, I mean, it lays out lesson plans, it lays out everything. A lot of the modules already have tests in them. The other ones I made the test myself, which wasn't too complicated, but I have no complaints whatsoever.
Oh, thank you. Hey, William, before you go,
Yeah.
did you bring them to your organization? Were you the one that set it up?
No, the Building Trades Council here in Decatur, Illinois did.
I
They,
mean,
they got the ball rolling, let's say.
okay. All right. I was just curious as far as how that relationship with the local uh, uh, union plays a part in this in the curriculum and getting it set up.
Very, very big part. I had to actually go in front of the Building Trades Council at one of their meetings, and I don't know if I say necessarily plead my case or what, but I had to get approval from them. The very first question they asked me is, and if I can remember correctly, this has been about 3 years ago or so. They asked, will you be, I can't remember how it was worded, but their main concern was, am I going to be training people with this MC3 curriculum and then turning them over to non-union contractors? That's the biggest issue that they had with us using the MC3, but with me being a good card carrying member for so long until I got injured, there was no, I mean, it was all formalities. They knew what my answer was going to be. So, but that was really about the, I mean, they all picked off certain questions and whatnot, but that main one that everybody was concerned about is if I use this MC3, am I going to be turning people over to non-union contractors?
Absolutely. Yeah, because it's designed for unions, right?
Yes.
And to prepare for entering into unions. So that only makes sense from a good fit. Hey, thank you so much for coming offline and sharing your experience for everybody to have to
problem.
hear how it went from you, and appreciate that.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
We have one more comment in the chat from Mike Conley. He says that they use MC3 for another grant program, but not for this grant program.
All right, great. Yeah, and I do know others, some of the grantees I coach also use it. It's definitely used around Illinois Works. And if you're considering or like to know more about it, I think you've got William Diddy here, and then you have Mike Conley, or one of your program managers can maybe hook you up with somebody that's a part of Illinois Works that could tell you a little bit more about it if you would like to. But yeah, thank you again. Appreciate everybody's willingness to share across the program here. So let's keep moving forward. We're going to move into talking about the National Center for Construction, Education, and Research, NCCER. And the next approved construction curriculum is this NCCER. It's a not-for-profit 501c3 education foundation. And that NCCER is the non-union equivalent of Trades Futures. Okay, kind of how you could think of it. NCCER overview is that in collaboration with construction CEOs, associations, and academic leaders, NCCER worked to revolutionize training for the construction industry. Their efforts resulted in several components which are key to construction industry workforce development efforts, including program accreditation, instructor certification, standardized training curriculum, registry system, qualification tracking system for craft professionals, assessments, and student certifications. NCCER's standardized training and credentialing programs target aspiring industry professionals. Students start with NCCER Core. The NCCER Core is a prerequisite to all of the other curriculum content. And if grantees choose NCCER as their construction curriculum, the Illinois Works requirement, again, is only to deliver the NCCER Core Curriculum 6th edition ISBN number 978-013748335-8. Again, it's the 6th edition of the NCCER. A link to NCCER Core Craft Catalog is being provided for you in chat there for you. And the Core Craft Curriculum 6th edition includes some basic requirements I want to talk to you about. The basic safety, construction safety orientation at 12.5 hours, introduction to construction math at 10 hours, introduction to hand tools at 12.5 hours, introduction to power tools at 10 hours, introduction to construction drawings 10 hours, basic communication skills 7.5 hours, basic employability skills 7.5 hours, introduction to materials handling of 5 hours, an elective to build your future construction 2.5 hours, and introduction to basic rigging 7.5 hours. So that's how the NCC core is set up. Now, under the core above, the elective modules, build your future in construction and introduction to basic rigging, are required for Illinois Works. Okay, just like we talked about with the MC3. The recommended core curriculum hours are for knowledge classroom instruction portion of the training. Hands-on training and performance evaluations make up the other training hours that total the 183 hours required by Illinois Works guidelines. Now, I want to be clear that NCCER elective modules are required for Illinois Works. I know that some have not been aware of that, and just want to clarify it. NCCER also offers several supplemental training modules that can help participants increase their skill sets in specific areas, including applied construction math, basic safety, tools for success, and your role in the green environment. Now, these are not required, but Illinois Works does recommend applied construction math supplement for grantees seeking to increase their math curriculum, which to get to that 40 hours. So we're sharing a link in chat regarding the applied construction math for you that has that ISBN number already typed out for you for those that need that. Again, many of you have already got this into your program. I want you to know that you can use this addition here to round out to the 40 hours of construction math. NCCER has a curricula for more than 70 craft areas beyond the core curriculum, and it's not required nor appropriate for Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program, and thus should not be delivered as part of the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program. The NCCER program accreditation offers 2 program accreditation designations. You can have an accredited training program, which is an ATP, and an ATP is an entity accredited by NCCER to deliver the NCCER training programs and provide industry recognized credentials. In order to become an ATP, organizations must have been in business for at least 12 months prior to the application date. Organizations also must have a commercial business address. That home residential addresses are not accepted by NCCER. Organizations must have appropriate facilities and equipment to deliver the training. You must sign an integrity, security, and confidentiality agreement that the organization understands and agrees to all policies and requirements and the accreditation standards of NCCER. You must provide contact information for an executive representative and then work with the Illinois Works approved NCCER contact, which contact information will be provided here at the end of the section. The complete process for the ATP status requires a simple online application process that includes 10 hours of online program management training through NCCER Learning Management System. The complete accreditation process takes 2 to 4 weeks to complete, and once the application has been received, the fee is paid, and the relevant training has been completed. The accredited training programs are granted candidate status. And during this candidate status, organizations then can begin their training program by certifying instructors and other instructional support roles, like the test proctor being enrolled and begin enrolling students into the NCCER training cohorts. Now, the other type is a registered training program, an RTP. RTPs would need to be connected to NCCER accredited training programs, so underneath kind of an ATP umbrella. If an organization does not have an ATP status, you can still deliver NCCER as a registered training program, and organizations working with an existing NCCER ATP organization register their program using the NCCER program registration form, and the link to this form is being shared in chat. A registered training program is a commercial physical training location, so job site, office, correctional facility, high school, college, schools, technical schools, etc., working under an ATP, delivering NCCER training for credentials. That's what a RTP is, or a registered training program. It is required that an ATP and the RTP have a signed memorandum of understanding that outlines the agreed upon responsibilities of each and meets the policies and procedures set forth in the guidelines. Now, these include requirements for audit of the location, evaluation of instructors, curriculum, performance evaluation, modules, test protocols, etc., sharing of records as appropriate, outlining of industry field trips or visits to classrooms if appropriate, among others. Now, RTP must be approved by the training program director, which and or manager as appropriate. So that's an RTP. It's different than an ATP, and the requirements are a little bit different. The registration of a training program must be approved by the training program director, okay? And for more information, you can go to this link, nccer.mysite.com/support, and that can help you access it. We're going to share in chat that link for you now. And also, for additional information on the most current NCCER accreditation standards, there's for training, a link is going to be shared in chat as well. This is the accreditation standards for training, so you can see what NCCER is requiring you of your instructors as well. All right, so let's talk about instructor certification. The instructor is an individual who meets the required qualifications as in the accreditation standards and is approved to conduct training for the accredited training program or registered training program. NCCER training is required. Now, instructor eligibility requirements. The training program director or manager of the accredited training program, that's the ATP, or the program contact at the RTP, registered training program, are responsible for collecting, maintaining, and validating documentation and experience of their instructors. This needs to be on file and collected and ready. The training program director, manager, or program contact must ensure that an individual has the appropriate qualifications and or time in the field to teach the modules level of craft they're being approved to teach. So it's not enough to have just the educational requirements. You also have to have the field application aspect of their experience. This could mean that an individual with 2 years of field experience and a validated resume could be qualified to teach the core and level 1 or level 2 of a craft title. If an individual is going to be approved to teach all levels of the craft, they must possess at least one of the following. They need to have experience at a minimum of journey or licensed technician level, at least 4 years in the specific craft they are going to teach, or a minimum of 3 years experience as a certified teacher in an avocational technical construction or maintenance related training program in the specific craft they're going to teach. The NCCER Instructor Certification Training Program, which is, they call it ICTP, you might hear it called ICTP. It's an online training program delivered directly through the NCCER Learning Management System. This online blended course provides the information, policies, and procedures and systems training needed to operate the NCCER accredited programs and appropriately provide the required instruction for credentialing testing for learners. Full instructor certification training programs, which are non-certified instructors, is a 16 hours, includes teaching, pedagogy, and instruction. An abbreviated ICTP, certified educators, is 4 hours, and it bypasses the pedagogy instruction. The ICTP was developed as part of the program accreditation process. It ensures that there's a uniform and consistent delivery of the training content provided by NCCER. Now, I want you to know that individuals who completed their master trainer certification prior to June 2022, you will be able to continue to function in this capacity. However, it is important to note that the role has been discontinued for future certification credentials. So no one else can become a master trainer can hold the master trainer certification now. That's just been discontinued. But if you have that is their highest level, and that allows you to keep that. They're grandfathering that forward. For more information regarding course offerings, we are sharing a link to contact information in the chat below here about the NCCER course offerings. The NCCER Illinois Works guidance must be delivered as originally designed. Illinois Works, again, will not accept modifications to this program. The most current edition of the curriculum is 6th edition, and it must provide a minimum of 32 hours of employability skills above NCCER's current curriculum, and must include harassment 4 hours and diversity and inclusion 4 hours, rounding out again to that 40 hours of instruction. So you have to go beyond what's currently in there for employability skills. NCCER has a Spanish language instructional materials available. However, Illinois Works requires all instructional content to be delivered in English. Outreach and recruitment activities can be tailored to the language of a specific target audience, but the criterion is only relevant to instruction is the English requirement. Okay, so if it's instruction, it has to be in English. You must comply with NCCER testing and evaluation requirements. You must also comply with Illinois Works testing requirements. So Illinois Works requires, if they exceed the NCCER built-in tools, grantees are expected to create tools such as post-test to supplement what is already built in, just like what I talked about with MC3. You must also have access to online testing and evaluation resources. if utilizing the NCCER Career Safe OSHA 10 construction curriculum, you must be provided in person by a certified NCCER instructor. Again, that's different than what NCCR will allow it not to be. But again, for Illinois Works, it must be provided in person by a certified NCCER instructor. You must use the 6th edition of the NCCER Core, Introduction to Basic Construction Skills, which also incorporates the Career Safe OSHA 10 construction training into the lesson plan, but extra instructional materials may be needed for the instructor to use in class. Just to explain that NCCER's FAQs are being shared in chat now. So if you want to learn more about the program, curriculum, requirements, instructors, you can access that link. Our contact person for NCCER is Kathy Tyler, Director of Workforce Development, Accreditation, and Customer Service. And we're sharing Kathy's contact information at this point as well. So I have a question for you at this point. I'd like for someone to tell us about your NCCER accreditation process. Is there anybody that'd be willing to share, come off of mute and tell us about your experience?
So Jeff, we have a comment in the chat from Rahid.
Okay.
I thought the building, future, and rigging were not required for the certification. Are you saying we need to do all of the modules to complete it for Illinois
Yes.
Works?
Yes. Yeah, the electives are required. Yep. Okay. Anybody willing to talk about the NCCR program accreditation process? Your experience? I know we have a few of you out there that are using NCCER. Everybody, oh, there we, is somebody sharing or no? Is you, Carlita?
No, that's Rahid. Rahid saying
Oh.
it's an easy process. Love the provided PowerPoints from the site that they give up.
Awesome. Thank you, Rahid. I appreciate that. Oh, very helpful for the youth. Excellent. All right. Well, let's move forward. We're going to keep moving on. We're going to talk about the Illinois Community College Board at this point, which is abbreviated. You hear it ICCB. And the ICCB is the regulating funding body of our community colleges in the state of Illinois. In 1965, the Illinois General Assembly established the Illinois Community College Board, the ICCB, to create a system of public community colleges that would be within easy reach of every resident. More than 50 years later, the Illinois Community College system covers the entire state with 48 colleges and one multi-community college center in 39 community college districts. Community colleges serve nearly 1 million Illinois residents each year in credit and non-credit courses, and many more throughout their public service programs. The ICCB understands that community colleges are similar and yet unique, and they share a common mission. However, what makes each college unique is how the college responds to the community in which it serves. They can prepare people for college, for transfer to other colleges or universities, and for good paying jobs that demand high skills. These activities include career and technical education, and this includes the Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program. Colleges have few curriculum options. They can design their own construction curriculum. If they decide to design their own construction curriculum, it must receive Illinois Works approval. For approval, it must comply with the Illinois Works construction curriculum standards. ICCB approval, once approved, the college can deliver its construction curriculum and give the applicable credentials, basic or advanced certificates typically. Now, the construction curriculum accredited through the ICCB can be taken for college credit or for college certificate, or taken for no college credit, only receiving a college certificate. If a community college designs their construction curriculum, approval from both ICCB and Illinois Works is required. You have to get approval from ICCB and Illinois Works. While community colleges are welcome to create their own construction curriculum, they can also choose to implement one of the Illinois Works approved construction curriculums, so Trades Future or NCCER. They are also welcome to identify a construction curriculum other than Trades Future or NCCER, which must be submitted to Illinois Works for approval prior to delivery. For more information about ICCB approval process, we're sharing a link in the program approval manual in the chat now. You want to see Chapter 2, Career and Technical Education of the ICCB program manual. ICCB guidance, for Illinois Works guidance, the approved version of the curriculum must be delivered without modification, must be provided a minimum of 32 hours of employability skills, and if only providing 32, you additionally must include harassment prevention at 4 hours and diversity inclusion at 4 hours. OSHA 10 course construction, or OSHA 10 construction and first aid CPR certifications must be delivered as part of the curriculum. ICCB approved certificates do not generally include these credentials, okay? So these are in addition, they must be delivered, the OSHA 10 and IC first aid CPR. You must comply with ICCB's testing and evaluation requirements. ICCB's current curriculum complies with the Illinois Works evaluation guidance, those that are approved. ICCB approved community colleges may choose to deliver the Trades Future or the NCCER, and they would work through the same approval process as a part of the community college. Our contact person for ICCB is Tricia Broughton, and we're sharing this information in chat now. All right, so I have a question for you. Again, is anybody on the call here on the webinar that has used ICCB willing to share your experience? I know as a program coach, I have had experience with at least one or two that of our grantees that use ICCB. Anybody out there using ICCB willing to share? Come off of mute and share, or either put some comments in chat for everybody. And again, Rahid and William Diddy, thank you so much for doing that for Trades Future and NCCER. Appreciate it.
This is Mike Conley. We're using an ICCB certificate for our program.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, it's worked out pretty well for us. We were fortunate that we already had a short-term certificate that had been approved by ICCB before we started the program, so we just were able to plug that in. So yeah, it's working out well, and we've appreciated the Illinois Works staff's willingness to accommodate us on that. So
Excellent.
doing fine.
So Mike, where are you at again? Which
Belleville, Southwestern Illinois College.
Okay, Southwestern. And you've been with Grant for a few years now, right? Were you from the beginning?
Since the beginning. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So you've got several years of using it. Would you call out any of the challenges or strengths of using your ICCB program?
I mean, well, the challenge is trying to make the ICCB, or excuse me, the Illinois Works curriculum kind of fit within the framework of our classes. So that's been a little bit, of a struggle in spots, but we've been able to make it work pretty well. And ICCB offers some flexibility as well with some of their classes that, what are called 299 classes that we can kind of set up and kind of make what we need them to be for a limited period of time. So we've taken advantage of some of those. And we also had some dual credit classes that were already in place that worked out really well for the backbone of the Illinois Works curriculum. So just trying to make those two things marry together, I guess, would be the biggest challenge that we've faced, but we've been able to get it done. And again, I mean, the flexibility of Monica and prior to that, Dan and Dr. Rowano have helped that along. So
Excellent. Hey, Mike, thank you so much for sharing with us because, again, not a lot of you are using that, and it is helpful to have that background as an option.
sure.
So thank you so much. Appreciate that experience, especially since the beginning. You've got one of the most. So this is great. Awesome. All right. Well, let's keep moving forward. Let's talk now about OSHA 10 construction, CPR, and first aid certifications. In addition to the construction curriculum, Illinois Works 183 hours of instruction must include OSHA 10 construction, CPR, and first aid certifications. Now, the OSHA 10 construction certification, it's offered by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, also known as OSHA. It's a large regulatory agency in the United States Department of Labor. They ensure safe and helpful working conditions for workers by setting and enforcing standards and by providing training, outreach, education, and assistance. With the Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970, Congress created OSHA to ensure safe and healthy working conditions. And the OSHA Act actually covers most private sector employees and their workers, in addition to some public sector employees and workers in the 50 states and certain territories and jurisdictions of federal authority. Those jurisdictions of federal authority include the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, the Samoas, etc., these islands, and the Outer Continental Shelf lands as defined by the Outer Continental Shelf Lands Act. So those are, in case you're wondering, outside of the 50 states, where does it apply? OSHA requires employers to provide training to workers who face hazards on the job. They help accomplish this by creating training materials. They also distribute training grants to nonprofit organizations, and they provide training to authorized educational centers. The OSHA Outreach Training Program provides workers with a basic and advanced training about common safety and health hazards on the job. The OSHA 10 construction certification teaches basic safety and health information to entry-level workers, construction and general industry, and part of the OSHA training program includes serious workplace hazards, workers' rights, employer responsibilities, and how to file an OSHA complaint. The OSHA program accreditation, the OSHA Training Institute education centers are an extension of OSHA Training Institute, which is the division within the Occupational Safety and Health Organization that serves as the primary training provider for OSHA. The OTI, to abbreviate it, that's the OSHA Training Institute, OTI, targets federal and state compliance officers and state consultation program staff, but it also provides training for federal personnel from agencies other than OSHA and a private sector personnel on a space by availability. The OTI education centers were formed as a national network of nonprofit organizations authorized by OSHA to deliver occupational safety and health training to public and private sector workers, supervisors, and employers on behalf of OSHA. And that was in response to the demand that they received. They also act as authorizing training organizations in administering outreach training programs. The OTI education centers provide OSHA training not only at their location, but they'll also at their host locations throughout their respective OSHA region. The OTI education centers have the ability to deliver OSHA training for companies and at their work site or on a contract basis. The OTI education centers are selected through a national competitive process, which is announced through Federal Registered Notice of Competition. To be eligible to apply for consideration as an OTI, the education center organizations must be a nonprofit organization with demonstrated experience in developing curriculum. They also need to develop occupational safety and health training and have appropriate training facilities. Authorized OTI education centers are selected for a period of 5 years. And for information regarding the OTI Center of Notice of Competition and request for applications, we're providing that link in the chat for you at this time. Though accreditation as an OTI is possible, it's not a requirement for Illinois Works. Illinois Works does not recommend that you become one of the centers of OSHA. What is most relevant is the information related to the instructor certification, which we're going to discuss. The OSHA instructor certification from the OTI education centers, only an OSHA authorized trainer can deliver OSHA 10 construction instruction. So only an authorized trainer can offer that OSHA 10 construction instruction. Authorization includes prerequisites, experience. You have to have 5 years of construction safety experience, a college degree in occupational safety and health, a certified safety professional, or certified industrial hygienist designation may be substituted for up to 2 years of experience. You have to obtain guidance on whether you meet the requirements from the OSHA Training Institute on Education Center where you're going to be taking the training. Training requirements. You must complete the OSHA Course 500 trainer course and OSHA standards for construction. A special emphasis is placed on those topics that are required in the 10 and 30-hour programs, as well as those that are most hazardous. Course participants are briefed on effective instructional approaches and effective use of visual aids and handouts. And you must complete the OSHA Course 510, Occupational Safety and Health Standards for the construction industry. This course covers OSHA 10 policies, procedures, and standards, as well as construction safety, health, and principles. A special emphasis is placed on those that are required in the 10 and 30-hour programs, as well as those that are the most hazardous. Course participants are briefed on effective instructional approaches and the effective use of visual aids and handouts. You cannot substitute one prerequisite to fulfill the other prerequisite. OSHA does not issue waivers for either the experience or training prerequisites. The experience requirements and successful completion of training requirements can result in an authorized construction trainer card, which is a Department of Labor card. The trainer course is provided at the OSHA Training Institute education centers. Each OSHA education center then posts their course offerings, schedules, and locations on their individual websites. And construction outreach trainers are authorized for 4 years. Besides being able to deliver OSHA instruction, authorized trainers may receive OSHA course completion cards for their students. For more information about OSHA Training Institute education centers, we're now providing a link to that to them in the chat. I want to also just explain that an OSHA 10-hour certified instructor you can partner with other organizations who have certified instructors. However, that's just an added cost for your grant versus having that person be a part of your organization, having that trainer. But you can partner and bring in others outside to do that instruction. The Illinois Works guidance on OSHA certification, it must be delivered as required by OSHA. Illinois Works will not accept any modifications. The materials used must be well designed and appropriate for the audience. Although OSHA provides some of the materials, they do not provide all of them. Illinois Works requires the OSHA 10 construction certification, or the 30-hour or other certifications are not appropriate for Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program. However, a participant with an existing OSHA 30 construction may have their Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program OSHA 10-hour construction waived. And that you'd want to work with your grant manager. This course is ideally delivered face-to-face. It can be delivered synchronously, virtually. However, asynchronous instruction is not permitted, okay? And must comply with the OSHA 10 testing and evaluation requirements. OSHA 10 construction current curriculum complies with the Illinois Works evaluation guidance, and you must comply with the OSHA 100% attendance requirements. Some Illinois Works modules have an 80% attendance threshold. However, this does not meet the needs for OSHA, and you must comply with the certifying body's requirements, which in this case is 100%. We're sharing the contact information for 2 OTI education centers in the Illinois in the chat now for you as well. So you can have their contact information. Grantees should reach out to the OSHA to gain certification for their instructors if current instructors are not OSHA 10 certified, construction certified. All right, using WebEx again, or just come off of chat, will you please share your experience with OSHA? Do we have any OSHA 10 instructors on the call that'd be willing to share that experience? What's it like for you to go through it? And your maybe some hints or tips? Any OSHA 10 card carrying certified instructors on the call here on the webinar with us? There may not be, I'm not sure. All right, I'm not seeing anybody coming off or offering. Oh, we got something in chat.
Raheed says, we have been using an outside source for OSHA, and it's been great having them in the program. We connected to the basic safety training.
Okay, yeah, and that's a definitely an option is to use an outside source if you don't have your own internal. I can tell you firsthand from as a coach, one of my grantees was going through the certification and just talked about, one, the cost that's associated with getting your certification as an instructor, and two, the time that it takes. It's not just back to back, get it done real quick. There is some spacing in between the instruction. So if you're checking into it, look into it, and those are some of the takeaways. Appreciate it, Raheed. Thanks for sharing your experience too of using someone from outside to come in and help. All right, let's move on to CPR first aid certification. The American Red Cross prevents and elevates human suffering in the face of emergencies by mobilizing the power of volunteers and the generosity of donors. In addition to the American Red Cross provides training and skills that help individuals prevent, prepare, and respond to emergencies. Among those are first aid and cardiopulmonary resuscitation, easier said as CPR. Many jobs that address health emergencies or have hazardous work environments require training to ensure employees have up-to-date life-saving skills. And the Red Cross offers flexibility in delivering training that responds to this need and meets the OSHA guidance. First aid training and certification qualifies participants to provide basic medical care given a good faith to a sick or injured person to maintain life and prevent further injury until professional medical care becomes available or takes over. CPR certification confirms that the participants are able to perform adequate CPR skills. The instructor must certify that participants have completed the formal CPR training and they comprehend the minimum requirements for certification and have passed a written exam, according to the Red Cross. They also provide AED training, but it is not required for Illinois Works purposes, nor is it recommended, as most job sites do not tend to have AED machines due to the conditions in which they work.
Jeff,
CPR,
before
yeah.
you go, there is a question in the chat. And I think it was from Raheed. It says, would it be more helpful to have a staff member with the OSHA certification?
It's really a cost issue. If you're looking at the OSHA 10 construction instructor, it's a cost, and you would have to run the numbers. I don't know what I can tell you from the grants I've worked with, there's quite a variance in what instructors charge from location to location. Say someone in Chicago or down in the southern part of state, what they're charging to do the training. Just it's more of a cost issue and convenience by having that OSHA 10 construction instructor on site or being a part of your team. That's really what they're talking about. Yeah. So after you've evaluated cost and convenience, weigh that option and then pick what works best for you. All right. All right, I lost my train of thought here. I think I was going on to the CPR instructor requirements. Thank you. And Red Cross first aid and CPR instructors must be certified to facilitate CPR and first aid training and award a certificate. The Red Cross can train instructors at community centers, online, or at a grantee's facilities. Now, you can secure first aid or CPR certified instructors by partnering with organizations, just like we were talking about with Rahid for OSHA 10. You can do the same for first aid and CPR. However, again, that is typically much more expensive to do it that way versus having somebody on your be a part of your team that holds the instructor requirements from Red Cross. So again, it's about convenience and cost that you want to think about this, and having an instructor on site. And typically for this one, it'll cost you more versus just having someone hold that certification for you. The Illinois Works guidance for CPR and first aid certifications, it must be delivered originally as designed. If you've heard me say that once, you have said it for every part of this. Illinois Works requires that we do not accept any modifications from the guidance and from the organization that's offering it. The most current version or edition of the curriculum has to be delivered. You must comply with CPR and first aid testing and evaluation requirements, and you must comply with CPR and first aid 100% attendance requirements. Again, just remember, some of our modules allow for 80% attendance thresholds from Illinois Works. However, grantees, you must comply with certifying body requirements. In this case, they specify 100%. You have to meet the 100% certification requirement. I want to explain to you also that you're going to find information about the Red Cross in the 2025 grantee manual. The American Heart Association also has an instructor certification program, and both of these curricula and certifications are acceptable for Illinois Works. We are now sharing the contact information for both instructor certification programs in the chat. Is there any first aid or CPR instructors, maybe with the Red Cross or that would be willing to come on and share about that process of going through and being certified? Any first aid or CPR instructors willing to come off of mute and share your experience? I know that one's a little more common, at least within the grants that I coach, that to have those be a part of the team. I didn't know if anybody holds that on the call.
Hey, Jeff, this is Gia. I have not worked with the American Heart Association, but I am a CPR first aid certified instructor trainer. And I will say, it's a pretty easy and straightforward process. I mean, there is a comprehensive exam and you have to have a minimum score. And then there's also, at least when I did it, which was some years ago, there is also there's a demonstration competency. So you have to demonstrate your ability to do the techniques, and they kind of have a checklist. But I have found working with them, the American Red Cross, to be just really easy. And even if your certification lapse, they don't make it complicated to come back in and retest and update your certification.
Excellent. And that's the Red Cross, right? Yeah, that's what you shared.
Yes, American Red Cross. I am not sure about the American Heart Association. I do think though we do have at least one, maybe two grantees who are using the American Heart Association.
I have one this year that is, I think, Center of Innovation, I believe,
Mm.
has that. So yeah, if they are out there, thank you for sharing that. So this one's a little bit easier if you listen to Gia, easier, kind of straightforward. There is a demonstration that's required, a performance demonstration. But thank you, Gia. Thanks for sharing that experience. All right. Well, let's keep moving forward. We're going to move on to coaching support. So if you'd like additional support with your program accreditations or your instructor certifications, Illinois Works coaching is available to you. The program coaching is mandatory for Track 2 and Track 3 organizations. Program coaching is tailored for both the program coach and the grantee. And this opportunity allows grantees to receive individually tailored support with the goal of mitigating and preventing program challenges and proactively supporting the program success. Coaches are not programmatic staff and cannot assist grantees with the program delivery. Um, so they come in, and I'm one of the program coaches. So we come in as a support, and we share the goal to help you be successful. We like to be a partner to your team, but like it said, we do not assist grantees in program delivery. Track 2 and Track 3 organizations can request that the accreditation or instructor certification process be added to their coaching plan if it's not. And if you're a Track 1 organization, you can opt into the program coaching by having your organization's grant administrator send a request to your assigned grant manager, including the reasons why you want to opt in. Now, if you don't know if you're a grant 1, 2, or 3, you're likely a grant 1 because grant 2 and 3 is mandatory, and we've begun reaching out to all of our grantees and offering that coaching as a ongoing. So if you fall into that grant 1 and you haven't heard from your coach, then you're probably in that grant 1. You'd like assistance. Again, the way to get that is by reaching out to your grant administrator and have them send a request to the assigned grant manager, including the reasons why you want to opt in. So if you'd like to opt in for support around this accreditation and what we've talked about today in the webinar, you can get that additional coaching upon request. So any questions before we move on to the next section and we bring Edwin in and let me get a break here? Any questions in the chat?
So far, I'm not seeing any, Jeff.
All right, Edwin, I'm letting you take over.
All right, thank you. All right, so now we'll be moving on to section 6, where we'll talk about supplemental instruction. And by the end of this section, you'll be able to incorporate minimum of 32 hours of employability skills, comply with experimental training and worksite practicum expectations, and lastly, consider additional certifications and relevant content. Now, employability skills are non-technical skills that can help participants increase their ability to succeed in an array of industries and workplaces. Illinois Works requires that grantees utilize the Illinois Essential Employability Skills Framework as a foundation for their employability skills training. Grantees are encouraged to build upon this foundation and create or secure employability skills training modules as needed for their target population. Employability skills require a minimum of 32 training hours and should not exceed 40 training hours in a grantee's Illinois Works pre-apprenticeship program curriculum. If only 32 hours, the required hours cannot include the following required training: harassment prevention 4 hours, diversity inclusion and construction 4 hours. If 40 hours, the required hours can include the following required training: harassment prevention for 4 hours, diversity and inclusion construction for 4 hours. Now, the Illinois Essential Employability Skills Framework is designed to define and clarify essential employability skills and provide a standard for the state of Illinois. Essential employability skills are those general skills that are required to be successful in all sectors of the labor market and are separate from the technical skills attained in career pathways or academic skills such as math, reading, and construction skills. The framework was developed through a collaboration of the Illinois Community College Board, ICCB, the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, DCO, representatives from Illinois businesses, local chambers of commerce, secondary, post-secondary, and adult educators and professionals, and other important stakeholders. To learn more about the Employability Skills Framework, we'll be providing a link for you in the chat now. And the framework is comprised of 4 primary skills: personal ethics, work ethics, teamwork, and communication, each with a subset of behaviors or actions. Now, this framework should be used to ensure that your pre-apprenticeship program provides the employability skills training to successfully respond to the needs of the current workforce and prepare participants to perform at the highest level within their professional environments, with the goal of maximizing their success in their workforce. Now, here are the employability skills course. So as you see on that table, there's developing personal ethics, building a strong work ethic, critical thinking, working effectively with a team, strong and effective communication skills, developing a customer service approach, relating to your supervisor, developing leadership skills, financial literacy, effective decision making, time management, and lastly, diversity, inclusion, belonging, and equity. Um, Now, Table 16, the employability skill courses of the 2025 grantee manual provides an array of courses based on the Illinois Essential Employability Skills Framework, as well as additional recommendations for modules that grantees may consider incorporating into their program. Now, this table, the one that you see on your screen, is not an exhaustive list of all available courses, but it does offer key skills that will be beneficial for the Illinois Works target populations. Right. Now, your program, we'll talk about experiential training and work sites. Now, your program is expected to offer experiential training, also known as development by doing. There are several approaches and modalities that leverage this type of training. Some examples include work-based learning, WBL, small group lab work, on-the-job training, and a practicum. We'll take a deeper dive regarding experiential training, learning modalities, instructional strategies during the developing and implementing a pre-apprenticeship curriculum and instruction session, which will take place later in the year. Now, the training that we're going over now typically occurs at the following. So, construction laboratory, that's a facility that provides controlled conditions in which participants can practice a task or skill, or a job site, which is a location or area where construction work is taking place. No, job sites are not controlled like construction laboratories. A work site, instructors should provide classroom, hands-on, and worksite training and tutoring. Grantees must provide stipends up to $14.50 per instructional hour. Instructional hours are defined as training time spent in a classroom, construction lab, or doing worksite practicums. Illinois requires 10 to 50 hours of work-based learning / worksite practicum. Now, the Illinois Works Pre-Apprenticeship Program guidance on performance-based stipends are paid based on attendance and academic performance, and should not exceed the training hour that we set every year. Justification of need does not need to be documented in the participants file, since it is not needed based and it is not given to all participants. These payments should be paid on a weekly or biweekly basis based on performance measures established in the grantee's policy. Now, the worksite experience should always be structured with an instructor acting as the supervisor and making sure that participants apply what they learned in the classroom. Given worksite experiences qualify as instructional hours, attendance must be kept. It's important to note that attendance must be kept for instruction hours, including worksite instruction, and reported in real time. One roster should be used per week, documenting the module name, training dates, and hours. Participants should print and sign their full name in ink. Pre-apprentice participants' name must match ID, no initials or nicknames. Participants are required to sign when they arrive for training, and the instructor is responsible for entering the daily training hours for each participant at the end of the training day, documenting any shortfalls in attendance. Now you can find the attendance roster in the grantee manual. It's available in the appendix as template 21, titled Sample Illinois Works Attendance Roster. All right, thank you. Now we'll talk about additional certifications and considerations. We have covered the minimum required certifications. Given the needs of your program participants, their craft areas of interest, and their post-program goals, additional certifications and or training might be relevant. Additional certifications and considerations may include, but not limited to, supplemental construction and building trades math, which includes functional understanding of math, including general mathematical functions, equations, fractions, decimals, measurements, perimeter, area, and volume calculations. Now, it's important to note that apprentice applicants are required to pass a math test without using a calculator prior to being accepted into apprenticeship program. They must be able to do construction math without the use of a calculator. This is typically the area where they struggle the most. There's also flaggers certification. They protect, project personnel, and provide safe, courteous, and authoritative directions to traffic passage through the work area. Upon successful completion of the course, participants will receive an ATSSA Flagger certification card. Though the Flagger certification can be a valuable addition to a pre-apprentice resume, it's important to note that compensation for this isolated task is at the lower end of the compensation scale for the construction and building trades. Women are 50.8% of the US population, yet only 4% of the construction and building trade professions. However, for construction flaggers, women make up 36.8% of that population. Given the goal of equity, be cautious not to disproportionately point women in this direction as an isolated occupational craft area. Okay. Now we'll talk about DIBE, also stands for Diversity, Inclusion, Belonging, Equity. Now, strategies to address equity, including support for minority-led organizations, such as discrimination within the workplaces, sexism within workplaces, bullying and harassment in the workplace, construction trades from the gender lens, construction trades through the lens of people of color, specific ethnic groups. Now, for more information about the DIBE, see Section 2, Program Culture in the 2025 Grantee Manual. In addition, please note that DIBE topics can be included as part of the required 32 hours of employability skills instructions. Now, any questions before we proceed to the webinar evaluation? If so, please feel free to unmute your line or post any questions in the chat.
There are no questions in the chat.
Okay.
All right, well, we're going to move on to the evaluations section. Edwin, thanks for your time as a co-facilitator and joining me today in the presentation. It's always very helpful to hear directly from those managing the grant. So thank you for being a part of it. Also, for everyone, we're really glad you're here, and we do want to hear from you. So we have a Mentimeter that we use for the evaluations. You can access that using the website menti.com and entering that code, or you can use the easy button and just go to, if you're on your desktop, over on the bottom right, there's a multimedia viewer. Click continue if you haven't already, and it'll open up the Mentimeter questions for us to go through, and we're going to navigate an evaluation for us. So that's coming up here now. So I can see if you have already, go ahead and answer the question that's there. Please share your views on the training by rating the following statements from 1, the lowest, to 10, the highest. To what extent did today's training meet your expectations? How likely are you to attend a similar event in the future? And how likely are you to recommend this training to others? So go ahead and respond to that if you're in there. And we'll give you just a minute to access that and start responding. Hey, we are gonna, if you would, go ahead and fill that out. I don't know, Olivia, if you can pull up that presentation and we can see the results. We're getting some responses out there. Again, please share your responses and um, gonna get the Menti presentation up here. There we go. All right. So thank you for those that have already responded. Really appreciate that. Awesome. Glad this looks like we did a good job of meeting your expectations today. That's great. Let's move on to the next question. The course was relevant to what I wanted to learn about this subject matter. If you would go ahead and respond to that. Again, you can use your multimedia viewer or go in through the link that was provided. And 1 through 5, again, strongly agree to strongly disagree. Just know that the numbers don't always come in the order that they're in. They're not always sequenced in the order of 1 to 5. So strongly agree, strongly disagree. Looks like we're getting some good responses there. Okay, let's move on to the next question. I plan to apply what I learned. If you would, strongly agree to strongly disagree again. You going to take this information and plan to use it? We hope you do. But let us know what you're thinking. All right. Getting some good responses here. It's great. All right, let's move on to the next question. What improvements might you recommend? You got any ideas on how we can make this better? We offer these again every year, and we're always looking for ways to improve, make them more valuable to you as grantees. And I just also want to just shout out to again those that came offline and shared or in chat shared your questions and your information. It's always great hearing from real life, like those that are using the programs, what your experience is. So you made this. Valuable as well, and I really appreciate that. William Diddy, Rahid, Gia, thank you again. Mike Conley, thank you for ICCB coming off on that. Really, really appreciate it. All right, let's move on to the next question. What did you find effective? If we make changes, what would you recommend we keep? Anything specifically that you're like, man, I really like that they did that in this webinar, or oh, that was a good piece of information. Anything like that jump out at you? Just we always like to know those parts of the event that have the biggest impact. Some of the content is dense, yes. And the PowerPoint slides, can you let the details with the number slide in one at a time? There you go. Thank you for that. Good advice, good instructor advice there. Appreciate that. So maybe some builds on to help with some of the content. All right. Yeah, I love that we shared experienced individuals. I agree. I just that always really makes the session so much better. It's great to collaborate together and leverage the best here. So thank you for your time. And is there another question? I'm trying to remember, Olivia, if there's one more question. Is there anything else about this course you think we should know? This is the last one. Anything else you think we should know? And you can always use NA for something that's not. Thanks for ending early. Yes. Yeah. It's always good to end early, right? End the meeting early is good. Yeah. We can use that time. You guys are busy. I know that. Maybe you can grab a little extra lunchtime. That'd be great. Okay, well, we really do appreciate hearing from you. If you have any feedback, any constructive, we do appreciate critical feedback as well on how we can improve. We'd encourage you to take that time and share it to us and follow up with the grant manager or your coach. Let them know. But again, thank you. We're glad that to have you as part of our provider network. We can't do this without you. You're so critical to the process, and we know that you're making a big difference in the world with what you do. So thank you for your time. Hope you have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye. We'll go ahead and wrap it up.